Hey everybody, this is the first video I've got for you on portraits. Now, a portrait is a picture, drawing, painting of someone's face, and you can choose to do whatever it is that suits you for this assignment. Recognize this face? This is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, a congresswoman from Brooklyn, New York, and I showed you her when we did our street art project, and I was working off of that photo and I was working on this. Remember that? And we kind of left it here. That was middle of March when we actually last worked on it. And I'm going to finish this up, and maybe next fall I'll have it for you to show, and maybe we can finish up those street art projects. But for today, we're just going to talk about portraits and getting started on drawing the human face. So we're not going to do dogs, but you can do dogs or cats, but you can do yourself. You could do someone from your family. You could do something out of a magazine or even off of your computer. If you want to do a self-portrait, you could work off of your school photo or something like that, or you could even draw yourself in a mirror. It's up to you. We're just going neck and up. You don't have to do the whole body. So there are a few things that I want to go over. Today we're just going to get it started and get you set up. And then after that, our next video for our next class, we'll get into more specifics. And remember when we drew the shoe and I talked about don't get into all the details right away. It's a bad mistake. Get the general size and shape of the image, whether it's a shoe or someone's face, and then get into the more specifics. So if I was drawing this, I wouldn't start by drawing the eyebrows and the eyelashes and getting all into drawing a perfect eye here. Even though you could draw a beautiful eye, it's not recommended that you start with that. So let me show you how you get going. I did start a drawing of her, and this is what I have so far. And it's not perfect, but it's coming along. It's starting to look like her a little bit, and I wanted to see if I could take it to a place where maybe it could help you guys out with your drawings. So today, let's just get started with it. So how do you get started with a portrait? Well, I have this picture of AOC, and I'm going to be working off of that. And so as I get going, I will show you the first few steps. The number one thing I want you to know right off the bat is before you put pencil to paper, make sure you're using pencil, by the way. And if you picked up an art kit, you should have a nice eraser too and a pencil sharpener. If not, make do with what you got. But the head is not a bowling ball. It's not a circle. It's more egg-shaped, really. So as I start to draw this, there are certain things about any human head that are pretty similar. Even though we are all different, there's certain things that we can count on. So I'm going to push down heavier once again so you guys can see it. I think the top of the head is kind of a half circle. You know, it's about a half circle like that. But then once you get to the side, like where the ears would go here, then it starts to narrow, and then maybe the cheekbones are right there. Then it gets narrow down here. And that is how I recommend you get started, right there. Okay, so for today, I want you to just get this part going, all right? All right, and then the chin, of course, is not as wide as the top of your head. And then notice I'm making mistakes, and I'm not worried about them right now. And I'm just kind of getting the basic shape out, and that's it. That's good, okay? So that's about right. And you might take a few swings at this, and you want to try it a few times. And then when you feel comfortable, move forward. Later, I can go back and say, yeah, I don't need all that. That's why it's nice, really nice, to have that eraser with you. Okay, then there's some lines we want to draw, and then that's all we're going to do for today. We'll just get things set up. There are some lines when you're doing a portrait that you want to make sure that you include, okay? So first of all, let's draw a line up here, okay? Straight across, parallel with the top edge of our paper. Then I want us to do that on the bottom as well. So we're going to draw that line right there. This is going to help us make the eyes, nose, mouth the right size and put them in the right place. So the third line is this horizontal line, vertical line that really cuts the oval in half. Okay, just like that. All right, so there's that one. Now here's the big one that you want to do, and that is the middle line. And that's where your eyes go. And one thing that we find hard to believe, but that our eyes are just about in the middle of our head. And if you don't believe me, let's take a look. Let's look at her portrait here. If I put my pencil right there to there, and then from there to there, look at that. Her eyes are right in the middle of her head. And you could measure your own if you want, or you could just take my word for it. But that's typically what we go with. So use a ruler. I don't know that you need to do that, but I usually just kind of take my fingers and go, yeah, right about there. Okay, and do it lightly. And then that's surprisingly where the eyes go. And I think a lot of students draw the eyes up here, but that's not taking into account all the head we've got up above that. So don't make that mistake. It also matters the angle of the head. Sometimes that can be deceptive. If the camera angle is down low looking up or up high looking down, that can really change a portrait. But for right now, let's do that. Okay, and then the next line I want you to draw is the eyebrow line. And so in this photograph, her eyes are right here, and her eyebrows are right above that. So about an inch above that, you want to draw another line. That's where your eyebrows are going to go. Okay, just like that. So you've got 5 lines drawn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, there's one more to do. All right, so if we go from this line here to the chin, we need to find out where the bottom of the nose is. And it's halfway between the eyebrow and the chin. So let's measure. Okay, so we're about there, about there. So the bottom of the nose is right about there. Okay, and let's draw that line. Okay, so if you get that far, that's good for today. And then if you want to practice drawing eyes, nose, mouth, it can be tricky. So if you wanted to get a piece of paper, scratch paper, and practice that to get ready, then we'll pick it up in the next class from here and add the facial features, and then we'll move closer and closer to this. Again, let's measure. Eyebrow to nose, nose to chin. So that these things on the face are pretty much consistent from person to person. This is what I want you to have ready for our next class in 2 days.